Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about the fear that's going on in the United States because of Trump's last statements. He basically said he's going to order the deportation of millions of people and their families. Okay, well, first of all, let's look at this a little bit, and I want to inform the people watching this more or less what can be done, what can't be done, and how that statement by itself really is more to instill fear rather than reality. Okay? So, first of all, you have to understand that we are a democracy, there are courts, there are procedures, there's due process. Okay, due process is in the Constitution of the United States. It's one of the biggest benefits that being in the United States has, and it's when we go to law school, there's all kinds of studying and cases and so forth on due process, but what it comes down to is really what the words mean. Due process, it means that you're basically going to be given a fair shake to present your case in front of tribunals, which are courts or other types of entities, prior to having a judgment set against you. Okay, and just to give an example, let's say that somebody's suing you, and they get a judgment of, $50,000, and all of a sudden, all the money in your bank account disappears. But let's say that you were never given notice of the lawsuit, you never had your day in court, you never had an opportunity to fight. Obviously that would be unfair, right? That would be a violation of due process. That in that case, all your money in your bank account disappeared when you never had an opportunity to defend yourself. Okay? The reason I bring this up is because similarly, in immigration law, even though Trump does everything he can to try to avoid the due process limitations um, of immigration court and asylum and so forth, um, you can't just round millions of people up, stick them in a train or a plane or whatever, and kick them out of the country. You can't just do that. Okay, I'm not saying that there are not ways of doing that. That they can't get people, for example, who have prior deportation orders, and properly execute those orders. Okay, that can be done. But there is a whole procedure to doing it. And I know that there's people now that are afraid to go out of their houses. They're afraid to send their kids to school. They're afraid to go shopping. All of this because they think that they're just going to be picked up, and thrown out of the country. So let's just discuss some of the more typical options here and what can be done. So let's say, first of all, that you're inside the United States illegally, and that for one reason or another there was a deportation order issued against you, but that you didn't get notice of the court, or got lost in the mail, or for whatever reason, you ended up not knowing about the court against you. Well, if that's the case, because the reason I bring this up first is because Trump was saying that all these millions of people who have deportation orders in absentia, they're going to be taken first and deported. Well, if it was a deportation in absentia, then what we can do is we can file a motion to reopen the deportation hearings because you didn't have your day in court. You didn't have due process. Okay? And let me tell you what happens. The moment that a motion to reopen is filed in an in absentia hearing, there's an automatic stay of deportation. They can't take you. The moment it's filed, they are prohibited from taking you and deporting you while the immigration judge is deciding on the motion to reopen the in absentia hearing. Now, obviously, if the judge denies it, we would have to go up and appeal. If the judge grants it, then that means that the case has been reopened. You get now an opportunity to fight your day in court, and you can apply for whatever it is you qualify for. Maybe it's asylum, maybe it's cancellation of removal, maybe it's adjustment of status, maybe it's waivers with different other types of petitions. Okay, there's all kinds of things that could be done. Now, let's say that, so that's scenario one. So you can see that of these 11 million people, there's going to be a lot of them that have deportation orders in absentia. And that's how you deal with that. Now, let's say that a lot of people, they go to immigration court, they tried to fight their case, and they got orders of deportation, or they got voluntary departure and they didn't leave by the date they were supposed to, in which case it turns into an order of deportation. So here, this is the second big group of people that we know, um, eventually ICE is going to target. So, what can be done? Well, those cases are very specific on the facts of those cases, but there's different things that could happen. So, for example, let's say that you represented yourself, you didn't do a very good job, and you got the order of deportation. And let's say that you did qualify for something at the time. We can try to make a motion to reopen to try to apply for that relief, in that depending what happened, you weren't properly informed what it is that you could apply for. Let's say that you were represented by an attorney who didn't really know what they were doing, was not an expert immigration attorney, and did things incorrectly and ended up with getting an order of deportation. I mean, let's say you qualified for something and that attorney just didn't apply for it or didn't tell you about it. Well, we can do what's called a Lozada motion, okay, showing ineffective assistance of counsel, and get it reopened on that basis. Let's say that you have the deportation order, but let's say that there's been changed circumstances. Okay, let's say between then and now, maybe something's happened in your home country that makes it dangerous for you to go back. That's changed country circumstances, and we can reapply for asylum or withholding. Let's say that you got married and it's a bona fide marriage, and now you qualify for adjustment of status. Let's say that your USC child is now over 21 and can petition you. Let's say that you have a petition that was pending for a long time and now it's current. Okay, it goes on and on. There's all kinds of ways of applying for a motion to reopen based on your situation, so that the case, would be stayed, and the deportation wouldn't occur. So I don't want to, give the impression that there's no way that they can come and deport you, but you can't take their view of it either, in that all they have to do is, flick on a switch, and all of a sudden millions of people are out of the country. If they could have done it, they would have done it already. I mean, that they would have gone after all these people, since that's all Trump's been talking about over the last 2.5 years, and they would have deported them already. So it's not so easy. Okay, strategically, tactically, and procedurally, it's not so easy. But if they do get you, don't sign anything, because the only thing they're going to want you to sign is I'm not going to fight my case, please deport me. Tell them that you can be respectful. Tell them that your attorney said you're not supposed to sign anything, and then give your immigration attorney a call, and they will determine if it needs to be a motion to reopen in absentia, if it needs to be a motion to reopen for changed circumstances, Lazada, all the different various manners in which a motion to reopen can be made. And then there might have to be a motion to stay the deportation. So there's lots of different things that could be done. So I want to inform you that, while the situation is not really good these days with the way that they're scaring, the way the administration is scaring all these people, that you're not defenseless, that you do have rights, but they have to be executed and taken care of. Okay, and they need to be properly prepared and filed. So if you like the video, give a thumbs up. And also, if you need a consultation, give my office a call. I'll be happy to let you know what can be done, and so forth. Okay, more on the coming videos.